Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Gorale. Today, is it Gorale or Gorale? I think it's Gorale. It's not E. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. We are just about finished doing the planting. I just wanted to show you the last little bits of it. It's also started hoofing it down with rain, so we do kind of want to finish it quickly. I mean, you can keep going once the rain has started, but you can't go for very long because, yeah, once the rain gets going and really starts to saturate the ground, it gets very difficult to do any planting. It makes a difference doing direct planting, so we're direct drilling, although we do have some sort of partially cultivated bits on here. However, you sort of wouldn't really be paying much attention to those in real life. So, well, you wouldn't necessarily have great big patches like that in real life, and the more the ground has been disturbed prior to you going over it with a direct drill, the more the less rain you can have on the ground before you've got to stop. And you'll soon know that you've got to stop because it starts balling up. You start getting big balls of mud and stuff gathering up around this one. The tractor wheel starts slipping everywhere, and it just makes an absolute mess. It's just ridiculous. However, a direct drill, I mean, this one like almost fully cultivates and leaves you with a bit of a bed, whereas the one that I used to use, you look there, so you've got cultivator beforehand and then you've got the coulters on the back. The one that I used to use didn't have any kind of cultivation whatsoever. It just had very, very heavy seed coulters that dug into the ground. And by using those like that, what it was able to do was you were able to go a lot more than you would have otherwise been able to go. So let me just start this one up. New Holland has managed to get hopelessly stuck into this ditch. Now, I thought that I'd managed to tidy up the end of this reasonably well. You may notice that the money is racing downwards whilst these guys are working. That is because, just to finish off the seeding, I have set it to the workers by seed. I just thought it would be a little bit faster. I mean, obviously they're not just going to buy it and it's going to magically teleport to them. What you can't see is the other guy who's running frantically back and forth from here to the shop with a vehicle and a trailer and over to the other one, and he's keeping them full. So it's completely realistic. We don't have to worry about breaking realism for that particular bit, and the seed is being done very, very nicely. So let me just get this one over and round, and we really do need to get a move on, because if we get too much rain, I really don't think that this particular seed drill is going to cope very well with working in conditions that are a little bit too wet. So we get to that point. The other one looks like he may have already finished. So what do you mean you're blocked by an object? What object could you possibly be blocked by on there? I mean, seriously, what could there possibly be in that part of the field that's stopping you from going any further? This is, I like multi-angle terrain, okay? It is good, but this is the reason that I don't like it. This is the one thing I don't like about it, because it's very, very difficult when you've started doing a field to get it exactly lined up to carry on with a field. And that's one thing I absolutely hate about multi-angle terrain. I'd really like it if there was kind of a setting that you could have multi-angle, but then the hired help would stick to what it was previously doing. I mean, yes, we do have the AI vehicle extension, but that one takes quite a lot to persuade it to turn around properly at the ends of the field. So for that one, yeah, you kind of, you've got two aspects of it that are kind of good, but you don't have them sort of meeting up very well and like doing a really good job of joining the two together. And that's something I'd really love to really hope that I see that in FS19 rather, is kind of more of a focus on, well, I'd like to see multi-angle terrain, but I only want to see multi-angle terrain if there's a way to get your workers to be able to sort of carry on in reasonably straight lines with what you're doing. So yes, we have this whole multi-angle thing going on, which is really, really good, but at the same time, I don't want to set a worker go back to a field that they've stopped at and then have them, because you haven't quite got it lined up and you've got a long field, they do exactly what the other guy just did and go off in the wrong direction. Now, it just looks bad, and it's also really, really frustrating. Now, I've finished here. This is all done, and I'll just show you the map. Oh, Cows are doing fine. We do need a bit of grass for the cows, and we go and deal with that a bit later on. And we've got 400,000 liquid manure, and the standard manure is at 385,000. So we're probably not going to be able to do any spreading or anything like that. So we have got wheat down here in this big one. I wasn't going to do field 86. I was just going to leave that one this time. And all of this has all now been done with canola. Except, well, this field here, 63, we harvested that one of canola. I'm replanting it the same, just so that we've got a block of the same crop there. We've got wheat down the bottom, and all of these fields up here have also got wheat, and we've just finished doing that. I haven't actually done these two over here, so I'm just heading over that way now, and I'll see about putting some wheat into that field as well. I can't remember if I went over there with the plough and ploughed up that field, and I should have done. I definitely should have done, but I don't remember if I actually managed to go and do it. So we will head over there a moment and just see if I ran the plough between the two fields. If I did, excellent. If I didn't, we'll just kind of ignore it and carry on and plant anyway. It's not going to be a huge, terrible hardship if the two fields aren't actually joined together. And what did I do? Oh, I did do it. I did actually remember to do it. That's excellent. So if we just unfold this one. This one will also be wheat, so I will start over in this corner up here and bring that one round. Right, I need to back up a little bit and just get it lined up to that last piece without walloping into the tree. Right, if I go, this is a difficult bit. Right, if I'll get it started. I'll manually do this first bit. Just turn off the flashing beacons a moment. I'll manually do just this first sort of slice to get started, and then when I think I've got it lined up fairly straight, press H and hope. What do you mean you've completed your task? Seriously. This is something else that frustrates me about the hired help, is it's very quick to give up, isn't it? It's not they're not the kind of workers that will persevere through a difficult job. And occasionally you want someone that is going to put a bit of effort in and really persevere and complete a difficult job. But the hired help in this game, they take a look at it and you're like, you know what? I'm only getting paid to do this, mate, and you don't pay me enough to really make any effort. So, you know what? I can't be bothered. I can't do that. You have to get someone else to do it. I ain't paid enough for that. And besides, it's near the end of my shift, mate. I'm off. They really do seem to be those type of workers, and it's not necessarily the best thing. Right, that one can carry on there, and this one has now almost done, and he's actually doing a decent job. We've got that strip in the middle. We will just have to manually go around the outside and tidy up the last little bit. I'm hoping that the 244 litres left in there will be enough to finish it. We've got another section over that side. Should be okay. We should be right. We don't have a lot of time left on this map. Let me just start this one up and back it out of the gateway. We can shut that gate. That's just irritating me now. In fact, that's like that. And that one is completely wrong. If I can back him up just a little bit more. There we go. That's right. We have this week and next week. Which way do we do this? Oh, maybe I have to come over this side. There we go. This week, next week, and then the following week after that, we've got the Monday. Now, it depends what time the DLC is released on Tuesday the 14th. If it's later in the evening, I may do a final episode here on Gorale before the DLC is released. However, once the DLC is released, I am hoping to do an episode as early as possible. So, like, within hours of it going live, I want it downloaded onto my computer, and I want to be making the first episode where we are just going to take a look around the map and see what we've got. I'm going to be setting up the map with various different bits and pieces. We've still got a little bit of snow left on the map here. Right, let's go over to one of the workers so that we can watch them working. Well, excellent. He might actually do that piece in there with the hired help doing it. That would be really good. It's going to save us having to try to manually do it, which could be a bit of an issue because we have very little seed. So I might actually, for the very first episode, I'll generate in some extra money before I start, but then so that we've got the money that we're sort of taking with us, and then I will, while we're having a tour of the map and a look around, I will do the setup. rather than sort of starting the actual series, it'll be a setup video where we get everything ready, we get the 160 cows that we're starting off with, we decide what fields we're going to buy and get them seeded with whatever it is that we're going to seed them with. We're going to have several things set up. Now, I asked you last week if you wanted me to have pigs at some point on the map, and I had 1,099 people answer that question. 403 said no, 696 said yes. Now, the main reason for no seemed to be that pigs aren't very profitable, even in the base game. Now, we're not going to be using seasons, we're just going to be using the base game, but some people said, you know, pigs just aren't very profitable even in the base game. I can live with that, and 696 people have said yes. You got just under 300 people more said yes and said no. So we will be doing pigs, and so we can buy the pigs, we can have them there ready and waiting. We can also buy a few fields so that they're reserved and waiting for the next lot of, well, when we decide to basically kind of activate them, when we decide to start working on the pigs. And then finally, we need to get our machinery set up. Now, we will start with machinery on the map, obviously, but I said that I would prioritize the machinery from the DLC, so I suspect that we'll have a lot of that on the map to start with. But then I would go for John Deere. Now, I did ask you the question, and for once I did actually include John Deere. I know so many people ask me for John Deere all the time. John Deere really did win the vote by a long way, and I know that John Deere tends to evoke strong feelings in people. Whether you love them or you hate them, they do tend to evoke strong feelings in people, which is why I haven't really done very much with John Deere in the past. And I will use John Deere in this map, and I'm also using some John Deere stuff in my next time-lapse series, which will be on Sandy Bay, but I'm not going to be doing it on all of the series that I do, because there are so many other ones out there, and I know that there are quite a few people that really, really love it and would like just John Deere. I'm not going to just stick with exclusively one brand on everything I do. So you've got John Deere coming up in the next one. So we're going to need to find a couple of John Deere things so that they're kind of ready as well. I'll hopefully have a couple of mods ready. We do have a baler that we can use, and there is a couple of tractors that I've already got that were released onto Modhub that we can use, and I'll look around and see some others. People have been sending me all kinds of links for John Deere stuff, which is absolutely great, and I will look at those as well. And then it's kind of just a case of deciding what we're going to be using. Now, I don't think I'll be using very much in the way of John Deere to start with, because I want to focus on the new stuff that's being released with the map. And I think I know there's Case, and we've got Stey. No, it's not Steyer. Steyer, I think you're supposed to pronounce it. Anyway, it's the new one for South America. I can't actually remember what it's called now. I've completely gone blank now on what that's called. Anyway, that one that I don't actually remember, that one's on there, and I suspect that we'll start with a few of those machines as well. So that's going to be priority to start with. And I really think it's going to be quite good fun running you through a setup of a map, because I don't just run straight into a map. I do go through, and I like to make sure that things are in place. I mean, this map here, I did actually pretty much just come in and go from the starting point of it, but sometimes I spend quite a long time getting everything ready, and I think it's going to be quite good fun to be able to do that with you all and sort of show you what goes on behind the scenes in preparation for a series. So we'll get all of that done in our very first ever look, and then we can also go and get a car and we can just have a burn around the map and really see everything that it's got to offer before we settle down for serious farming in the following episode. And my question for this week is, what would you like me to do first? Now, I was actually thinking, this little point in me actually asking a question this week or next week, because we're sort of moving on to the map. We've kind of asked just about everything there is to ask about setting up the map. There's not really a lot else to ask. I'm fairly certain I know what you're going to want me to do first when we get onto the map. You're going to want me to do sugarcane. And I want to do sugarcane first as well, but I thought I would ask anyway, just in case. We're going to be starting with 160 cows, and I'm going to make sure that they've got some food and stuff available. And one of the ways that I will be doing that is we'll make sure that we've got a couple fields of grass that we're able to go and harvest if for anything that they might need. I will have the buy bales mod installed, and I will get a couple trailer loads. There'll be a trailer load of straw and a trailer load of silage bales and a trailer load of hay bales, all there on the map ready to start. So we'll be buying those and we're getting those in place wherever we're going to put them, all that kind of thing. I'm going to take you through it this time. I'm going to sort of do it with you, depending on when the DLC is, you know, what time the DLC is released. And so you've sort of got all of that you'll be able to witness and see. We just fold that one up. That's what I want to do. And so what are you going to want me to do first? When we actually go to doing the serious farming, what are you going to want me to do first? Are you going to want me to, like, I know that we're going to have the bales and everything's going to be there ready for the cows, but will you want me to sort of focus on those first and get them fed and, you know, like do an episode of feeding the cows and getting them a bit of fresh grass, that sort of thing, so that you can get a look at them? I mean, obviously we've got a new breed of cows. I don't think that the performance of the cows and anything they do is going to be any different, but there's still, it's a different visual. They do look different, so we could actually go and physically go and buy a few cows at the beginning and sort of do that as well. It could make it a little bit more interesting. I'm not quite sure. So cows could be the first thing. We could go straight into doing some arable cropping, and we will be doing arable cropping on the map. And it's going to be something that's going to have to play a fairly large part in what we do. We could, you know, go and spend a little while planting up some fields and getting some arable stuff done. And, well, I don't know about combining. I mean, I'm guessing that there will be something ready to harvest in the first episode. I don't really know. But maybe not. I'm not actually sure. Or we could go and do sugarcane. Just get stuck straight into sugarcane. If there isn't a field of sugarcane ready to harvest as soon as you start the map, I suspect there probably will be. I mean, knowing Giants and knowing how they tend to start the series off, you've always got a field that's ready to plant and a field that's ready to harvest. I'd be genuinely surprised if one of the fields ready to harvest, or the field ready to harvest, wasn't sugarcane. I'll be quite surprised about that, to be honest. But if it's not, do you want me to do sugar? Do you want me to focus exclusively on sugarcane until I have done everything there is to do with sugarcane? So I mean, preparing the ground, planting the sugarcane, growing the sugarcane, any spraying or anything like that needs to be done with it to sort of maintain it, and then finally harvesting it and doing whatever you got to do during the harvest, all of the various different processes. I've got no idea. I don't know what's involved. I know that you tip it into you have a trailer, and it's sort of a high tip side trailer, and you can tip it from there into a waiting lorry, and you can take that from there. And how you sell it and what you do with it, I don't really know. Whether it's got to be processed first, or if you just sell the pulp direct, I don't know. That's something else that we'll be finding out. So we can do the sugarcane first, or we can do one of the others. So which do you want? Do you want me to focus first on the map after I've done the setup video? Do you want me to do cows first, arable crops first, or sugarcane first? It's your vote. It's your game. Head into the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. And we have almost finished. The other one has completely finished, the other tractor. We've just got this little bit to do here. Now, I did say that I would actually have this done before I came along this week. And I did spend quite a long time doing cropping, doing planting on the map before I started up this episode this week. And I thought, well, there's only going to be a little bit left. I just wanted you to sort of see the last little bit, especially as it's raining, because I hardly ever do any work in the rain. And we do get rain, but I generally fast forward rain because it doesn't give as clear a quality on the video. You don't get to see as much, so it sort of makes it a bit dull. However, today I decided that we would go for a bit of working in the rain, and we're done. That is everything. Let's just take a look at the map and just double check. So we've got canola all the way around here. Now, there does look like there's a stripe around the edge there of the old stubble. I've actually been there. It's not. It's just kind of a thing on the map. I'm guessing it's a bit that you can't actually cultivate yourself. So we've done all of that. We've got wheat up here in the north. Everything up here is wheat. That field 42 there is actually grass. Field 60, 69, and 73 are all grass fields. So we do have grass available that we could go and give to the cows. Now, the next thing that we're going to want to do, well, we do want to turn the lights on because We're supposed to have lights on the road anyway, but considering the weather at the moment, it would be a very good idea to let people see that we're coming. We're now going to fast forward time. We're going to go all the way up to 120 speed, and we're going to leave it on that until it stops raining and dries up a little bit. I think you can mow and gather up wet grass while it's raining in seasons. You can't ted hay, you can't do combining while it's raining, and I don't think you can use a forager either. But I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure on the forager thing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. You certainly can't harvest potatoes while it's raining. I do know that much. I've tested that one, but I don't know about foraging in the rain. And I also don't actually know about mowing. I think you can mow in the rain. I don't think that there's any reason you shouldn't be able to. I know people that have done mowing in the rain. It sometimes it doesn't actually cut quite as well sometimes when you're doing it in the rain. So it's not ideal. It's not an ideal situation, but it is still possible to do it. I mean, obviously it would be better if we waited until it stopped. I'd like it to brighten up a little bit. Now I've got to decide which tractor I'm going to use. And oh, there's also a new toy that I would like to go and get for doing the grass. And we've got that little forage wagon there, which is a great forage wagon and all, but I feel that we could, you know, up our game a little bit. So let me just find somewhere to park this one. I did hear the suggestion, I think I mentioned it last week actually, about planting grass in this field, and yes, I agree, it would be a good idea. However, I don't want to do it now. Main reason being, it's going to take a bit of time, and we've got that heap of wood chips right there, which if we go planting, we could very easily accidentally delete the entire pile of wood chips. Not that it's going to make any difference, because I don't think we're actually going to get to selling any wood chips or anything. Right, see the mud? I love the mud effect. That comes up, I think that's partly seasons and partly the ground response and stuff like that. But when it's been raining, you get that mud coming up. Okay, we can slow down time now. We'll go back to 1 speed. We'll bring the tractor up here. I'm going to put the weight just right here, so it needs to go any further away. Lower that one down and unhitch. Right, we're going to take the front-mounted mower, and we're also going to get that forage wagon, and we're going to run up to the dealership, and I'm going to get a different forage wagon. I'm not going to change the mower. The mower is going to stay the same. So we'll grab that one a minute, and that's already lifted up. You know, I do actually need to put the PTO shaft onto that. So let me back up to this one, and then we'll hitch them both on properly. Get up to... there we go. Right, we want to put the PTO shaft on there, and we want to put the hitch on and a PTO shaft there. It still seems really strange to me seeing the PTO go underneath the drawbar and using this top drawbar. I have said before, I've not seen a tractor that uses a drawbar up here. All the tractors that I've ever used, the drawbar has been down here. No matter how big the tractor is, the drawbar is always at the bottom. It's still very strange to me seeing this, but from what I've heard from various comments and that on my videos throughout the few years now that I've been doing this, it's very, very common in Europe especially to have that configuration for a hitch, and a lot of tractors only have that configuration for a hitch. And I believe it's also common in the States, although I'm not actually quite so sure about that at the moment. So if that's a common way to have your hitch in the States, let me know. I'd really like to hear about that one. And what do you see more frequently? I know that the Big Bud and the way that the hitch works on, they don't have a 3-point linkage on the Big Bud, is actually quite common to see a lot of tractors like that in the States where they don't have a 3-point linkage. It's all done on like a trailed thing, like it comes with the Gregoire Besson plow. You know, it's got that trailed thing that goes on the back, and then that one has a 3-point linkage on it. That's actually a common configuration. I don't know how common though. I say common with these things, but then people will actually point out, well, actually, you know, it might be common in one state in America, but it's not common in any other states in America, and America is a big place. The US, the United States of America, is a very, very big place, and so, yeah, what's common in one bit for 100 million people is not necessarily common for the other 220 million? Is it 320, 350? I don't know. Over 300 million people that live in the country. It's not, you know, what's common for 100 million is not necessarily common for the rest of them. Right, we're going to get rid of that one, and I want something a little bit bigger. Now, we go into here, and we go to forage wagons. We are actually running out of time for today, so we may continue this one on tomorrow. We've got these here. Now, that Laley one, I've not really done a lot with it. I like the idea of using it, but I've not done much with it. So I'm going to go for... There was another one that I had, a mod, but it's not actually here. So we'll go for this one, I think. I'm just going to buy that one. There we go. And we can look at another one when we get to South America. I'm not sure how big a forage wagon you would be using in South America, but something that size I would guess would be acceptable. Just go, I'll go and hitch this on. I just need to take a quick drink a minute, and then we can see about testing this bad boy out. Well, this one here is actually hitched on the way that I'm more familiar with. I mean, actually, it's not exactly how I'm familiar with, because it looks like the hitch that you've got on here actually just slides up and down on this piece on the back, and that's something that I've not seen before. The ones that I'm familiar with are just sort of locked in place down underneath, and they are sort of tied in with a 3-point linkage, so you can lower those down via a little lever in there that you use, and then you lower the 3-point linkage and it lowers the hitch at the same time. But this whole idea of moving this piece up and down on the bar on the back, that's new to me. That's something that I've not seen. I mean, to be fair, it's been over a decade since I was actually employed in agriculture. It's been over 10 years. Now, I do kind of keep up with things that go on in farming, and I do interact quite a bit with farmers, and I see things that go on. But there are, because I don't work in farming anymore, there's obviously in 10 years a lot of things can happen and a lot of changes can take place. And some of the things that sort of go on, you don't see them unless you're working, unless you're actually fully involved in the industry, you just don't see them happening. So it's very, very likely that there's all kinds of things that I'm unaware of these days that are happening here in the UK. So yeah, I'm not at all surprised. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there are things that I have completely missed. I'm just going to start this today. We'll do a little bit more of this one tomorrow. We want to get forward in time as quickly as possible because we do want to start our harvest. We've got 2 weeks left, and I want to try to get as much of the harvest done as possible, really. So let me just start up the back one there, and then we'll start up the... You'd unfold the front one. Start that one up as well. And... Right, let's just take a look at the animations on this one a moment, because I haven't really taken a good look at this. You've got the pickup reel, and then you've got the knife roller there. I guess, well, that kind of pulls... It's kind of a knife thing all at the same time. I mean, that grabs hold of it and pulls it back. And as far as I'm aware, as it pulls it back through, you've got the knives are kind of the stationary bits further in back behind. So, let me just stop it a moment. Might be able to make more sense. You can see like that star shape grabs a bit of grass and then it pushes it through the knives, and that's what cuts it. And then there we go, start it up, and then it gets pushed up behind and it goes onto the chains. The chains actually push the grass all the way to the back of the machine as it works. So if we start now and just start running, it's picking it up, and that grass is going through that roller. It's being grabbed by the roller and sort of beaten a little bit, and then it's being pushed through the knives at the front, and it would slowly start moving back. Now, you don't actually see it moving backwards in these machines. It just kind of balls up at the front and doesn't actually move towards the back. Now, I don't know, because it's been so long since I've seen one of these things running, I'm not actually sure how quickly it moves the material towards the back of the forager. So, I mean, I suspect that given their attention to detail, that Giants are fairly accurate with how they've done this. So it's probably fairly as close to real life as you're going to find, really, without actually getting a real life one on here. I mean, there is the occasional bit that they don't have right, so I would guess that it does kind of... It's programmed so that the chain on the bed moves slowly enough that you're not moving all of the material right to the back, with the chain then still running and trying to like push it out the back gate, because that's how you'd break a chain. I could easily imagine a chain getting broken doing that. It's not going to pick up very well doing this. I'm going to keep leaving bits on the corners, which is a little bit of a nuisance. It's not perfect. Yeah, especially when I'm turning around the corner there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go round like 3 or 4 times, and then I'm going to start trying to work in straighter lines and see if I can pick up more. Sort of kind of like that almost, but without leaving a huge bit on the corners. Anyway, I have run out of time. My weekly question: when we get to South America, what job would you like me to do first? Would you like me to focus on the cows first? Would you like me to focus on a bit of arable cropping first, or would you like me to focus on purely sugarcane production until we've worked our way right through a complete harvest of it? When, you know, before we do anything else. It's your vote. It's your game. Head into the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. If you enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give me a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.